Welcome, dear reader, to a story that may feel simple at first, but carries a quiet strength within it. This is not just a story you read, it is something you slowly step into. As you move through each paragraph, you may begin to notice something unusual, something that feels deeply familiar. Perhaps it reminds you of your own thoughts, your silent struggles, or the dreams you keep hidden. Stay with it patiently, because this story is not in a hurry. It unfolds gently, just like belief itself. There is a question hidden inside this story. It is not spoken loudly, and no character asks it directly, but it exists in every moment. What happens when belief slowly fades away? And what begins to change when belief quietly returns? These questions may seem simple, yet they hold powerful meaning. The story will not give you direct answers. Instead, it will show you, through change, through silence, and through a slow awakening that grows stronger with time. At the edge of a quiet and endless valley, there stood a bridge that no one used anymore. It was not broken, and it was not weak. Its structure remained strong, and its path was still clear. Yet it remained empty. The wind would pass over it, whispering softly, as if trying to remind it of something important. But the bridge did not respond. It simply stood there, silent and still, as if it had forgotten the very reason it existed. On one side of the bridge, the land was calm and safe. The ground was firm, and everything felt familiar. Nothing changed, and nothing surprised anyone. It was a place where everything was known, where every step felt certain. On the other side, the land was unknown. It was not dangerous, but it was different. The colors seemed brighter, the air felt lighter, and the space stretched far beyond what the eye could see. Yet no one crossed the bridge to reach it. As time passed, the bridge began to notice the silence more deeply. Days turned into weeks, and weeks slowly became years. No footsteps echoed across it. No movement brought it to life. The bridge, once full of purpose, began to question itself. It wondered if it had ever truly mattered. It began to ask quiet questions that had no clear answers. The silence was not just around the bridge. It began to grow inside it. A feeling of doubt slowly appeared, and with each passing day, it became stronger. The bridge wondered if it was still capable of holding anything at all. It questioned its strength, even though nothing had changed in its structure. The valley itself began to reflect this change. The side of safety remained the same on the surface, but something deeper was missing. The energy that once moved gently through it began to fade. Curiosity disappeared. Movement slowed. Everything felt still, almost frozen in time, as if waiting for something that never came. Meanwhile, the other side of the bridge continued to exist in its own quiet way. It did not stop growing. The light there remained strong, and its open space continued to expand. It did not depend on anyone crossing over. It carried its own silent belief, even without being seen or explored. One quiet morning, something unexpected happened. A small vibration moved through the bridge. It was soft and brief, almost unnoticeable, but it carried a different feeling. It was not part of the usual silence. It felt alive. The bridge noticed it immediately, though it did not understand it. At first, the bridge ignored the feeling. It told itself that it was nothing, just a passing moment. But the vibration returned the next day, and then again, after that. Each time, it grew slightly stronger. Slowly, the bridge began to pay attention. It could no longer pretend that nothing was happening. With each gentle vibration, something inside the bridge began to shift. A faint memory started to return. It remembered a time when it was full of movement. It remembered the feeling of connection, of carrying energy from one side to the other. These memories were not clear at first, but they grew stronger with time. As the memories returned, so did a quiet sense of awareness. The bridge began to realize that its purpose had not disappeared. It had only been forgotten. The doubt that once filled it started to weaken, and in its place, a small sense of belief began to grow. This belief was not loud or powerful at the beginning. It was gentle and uncertain. But it was there, and that was enough. The bridge began to hold on to it, even when it felt small. The air around the bridge started to change. The silence no longer felt heavy. There was a subtle movement, a quiet energy that flowed through the valley. Even the wind seemed to carry a different message, one of possibility instead of emptiness. The side of safety began to respond to this change. Small movements appeared. The ground felt slightly different, as if it was waking up. The stillness that once covered it began to break, piece by piece. At the same time, the other side of the bridge seemed to glow even brighter. Its light stretched further, reaching toward the bridge as if welcoming the connection. The distance between the two sides no longer felt impossible. The bridge, now filled with a growing sense of belief, made a quiet decision. It chose to trust itself again. It chose to believe that it was still strong, still capable, and still meaningful. It did not wait for proof. It simply decided. That decision, though silent, created a powerful change. The gentle vibrations turned into a steady rhythm. Energy began to flow through the bridge once more. It felt alive in a way it had not experienced for years. The connection between the two sides started to rebuild, not through action, but through belief. Then, something remarkable happened. The first step appeared, not from a person, but from possibility itself. It was invisible, yet real. It moved across the bridge with quiet confidence, as if it had always belonged there. The bridge held steady. There was no fear, no hesitation. It supported the step fully, proving to itself that it was still strong. That single moment carried deep meaning. It was not just a step. It was a beginning. After that, more steps followed. Each one brought more energy, more movement, and more life into the valley. The side of safety began to grow again, not by staying the same, but by opening itself to change. The other side welcomed the connection. Its brightness spread across the bridge, meeting the calmness of the safe side. Together, they created something new, something balanced, something alive. The valley transformed slowly but completely. It was no longer divided by silence or doubt. It became a place of movement, of growth, and of endless possibility. The bridge stood at the center of it all, strong and steady. It had not been repaired. It had not been rebuilt. Its strength had always been there. The only thing that had changed was its belief. From that moment forward, the bridge never questioned its purpose again. It understood that doubt had only hidden its strength, not taken it away. Belief had simply brought it back into light. The bridge remained there, not just as a path between two places, but as a quiet reminder. A reminder that belief is not something you receive from the outside. It is something you choose from within. Even when everything seems still, even when nothing appears to be changing, something may already be beginning. A small vibration, a quiet thought, a gentle feeling. These are often the first signs. In the end, nothing dramatic had happened. There were no loud moments, no sudden transformations. Only a slow awakening, a simple decision, and a steady return of belief. But that was enough. Because sometimes, the greatest power does not come from what you can see or prove. It comes from the moment you decide to trust what has always been inside you. And once that belief begins, even in the smallest way, it has the power to change everything.